So we're going to see how all of these concepts are playing out in Google Ads and the things that you guys are doing. But first, before we get into that, I have kind of a nuts and bolts question based on one slide you showed. The kind of day parts that kind of show the different activity between tablets, PCs, and mobile phones. So they're all peaking at different times, right? So it's very supportive of the notion of being in as many of those places as possible to have more touch points with users throughout the day. So, I know that you're doing a lot of ads, obviously, on the desktop, and you have AdWords and many ad products, and of course, the ones we're going to go over next in mobile. How does that play out in tablets? Are tablets, does Google see a tablet search as mobile, or does it detect the operating system as being mobile in terms of where you're running those campaigns? How is it now treating tablet searches?
Right. So we created a tablet targeting option in AdWords.
Okay.
I think July or August, something like that. We are giving this choice to advertisers. If you want to specifically create your campaigns targeting tablet, you can do that. You can opt out of tablet if you feel you're not getting enough conversions on tablet, which is kind of unlikely. I think we are not recommending creating tablet-specific campaigns yet. We want to look at the data and figure out whether how that will work.
That's the same.
But some customers are doing that. We are seeing that many customers are creating very customized landing pages for tablet, customized experiences for tablet, and they are getting results. So
that's the same evolutionary path, or similar to what happened in mobile. I mean, Google mobile ads at the very beginning were that same kind of opt-in or opt-out process.
That's right.
And then slowly they kind of stood up on their own feet. So maybe you can kind of consider that what's happening in mobile ads are a leading indicator for what we can see in tablets. So let's go over some of these. This is just kind of all of them at once, so I'll skip over this slide. There are 7 of them, and these are most of the kind of main ad formats that Google has at this point. And if there are any missing, we can kind of go over those.
That's beautiful.
Great. So first of all, and I'm just doing them in the same order that you guys usually list them. These are in no particular order. And actually, they are in somewhat of an order, because the first few are more generally oriented, and the last ones are more local. In-app ads. This is essentially, if you have a mobile app, or if you're a mobile ad publisher, you can have Google help you monetize that. If you have search functionality within your app, it's almost like Google custom search on the desktop almost, but within your app. Tell us a little bit about this and what you're seeing.
So we launched this this quarter, I think a couple of months back. The idea here is a lot of applications are search-oriented. People search for local stuff, travel, movie tickets, gas prices, whatever. Those applications were using display ads because there was no alternative. And we thought those applications are really extension of like websites with search. And we have a product for websites with search, like AdSense for search. So we basically extended AdSense for search into applications.
Okay.
So it uses the same Google kind of search network advertisers, kind of very similar rules in terms of
similar revenue split.
Similar, very similar.
With an AdSense publisher, for example.
Yeah. Very similar. Very easy contract. You sign a simple contract, and you are on it. We are growing customer base. We are seeing great results. Of course, the RPM on those ads are really, really good. They're search ads. People have good, users have intent.
The intent is there. It's pull-based.
Exactly.
Now, we're going to talk to Xad later, who is working with this kind of similar concept of in-app search. I think it's a growing area and one to look after. Let's move on. We have a lot to get through here. Click to download. This is if you have an app. If you're in the similar boat of the previous slide, if you're an app producer and you want to have your ads, you want to have drive traffic or drive downloads of your app, you can do these kind of click to download ads. Now these aren't happening in-app; these are happening in Google searches on the mobile device, but drives people to your app. And what it does is it'll land you within the particular landing page of the app marketplace, whether it be the App Store or the Android marketplace. Tell us a little bit more about what you're going for here.
Sure. And people use Google for all types of searches, including applications, digital goods, all kind of stuff. So with what we saw is why not give advertisers, or this new class of advertisers who are app developers, and sometimes these are not new class of advertisers either. They are maybe like a PayPal or a Gap,
and they have an app.
They have an app, right? We feel we give an experience that's really simple for the user. So when you click on this ad, it takes you directly to Android Marketplace, or if you're on an iPhone App Store, and you'll just be able to download. We are seeing very good traction, increasing downloads from this. People are searching, because searching for app is getting to be a big problem.
Sure.
There's so many apps.
The app stores themselves are getting harder and harder to find what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Now, I imagine this is pay-per-click. It's similar to just, plugs right into.
It's very similar, yeah. It plugs right in, pay-per-click. You actually just give us a URL, deep link URL. Okay. And we are trying to make it even easier. You'll see some things. We're trying to make it even easier, where if you just tell us the name of your app,
you'll find the URL.
We'll be able to find the
Interesting.
URL. So.
Okay, let's move on. Mobile app extensions. This is great for product search, or kind of bottom of the funnel searches, where you know the exact product, you've already researched it. It can be in more than just products. That's just one example. But what this will do is they're ads that will land you on, it'll essentially land you within the page of a given app that pertains to that product search. So it almost kind of cuts out a number of steps in the process of going from a Google search to within an app, deep within an app, a certain page that results or from that search query you made. And then if you don't have that app, it'll take you to the landing page for the app. Similar to the previous point.
Absolutely. What I think about when I talk about this is how we are trying to merge the web and app world.
Okay.
Right? Because often it's more convenient for the user to go inside the app to buy something.
Yeah.
If they have the app.
The functionality might be better.
Exactly. They're signed in. Exactly. They're one-click buy in many cases and things like that.
Interesting.
So if you have the app, we thought, why not take you directly to where you are most comfortable with, the user is most comfortable with. It works very seamlessly. One click from the ad takes you right inside the app. Of course, the advertiser has to put some hooks there.
Sure.
It's, again, another way to kind of get users to kind of instantly buy things.
Sure.
Like instant gratifications. That's what they use the mobile phone for. They want to act quickly, buy something quickly.
It's a more seamless path to the end of the funnel.
More seamless path.
See those conversions happen.
Exactly.
Great. Let's move on. And now we get into the more local-oriented ones. And this isn't only local, but click-to-call is one that, this is one of my favorite ones to look at. And this came out, almost 2 years ago, and I know that it's evolved a great deal since then. But essentially, it's phone numbers within the ad unit, and I'll let you describe.
Yeah, we have many variations of click-to-call. I'll give you a better screenshot maybe.
Next time.
It's pretty good. But we have many variations of click-to-call. What we recently released is something called call-only creative.
Okay.
In fact, I was just searching for, can I show it?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can show it to you.
Is this hooked up?
It's an impromptu demo. This is not really a demo. But I just searched for this. Okay. Whenever it comes up, we'll figure out.
There we go.
Can you zoom in? Okay.
Yeah, there's a zoom button right on the top. Or you just hit it really hard.
Yeah, that may work too. Okay, so I lost my way early in the morning, and I was trying to find them. And I searched for them, and then guess what? I saw an ad for Hyatt, and they're using call-only creative. Pretty interesting.
So what does that entail, call-only creative? That is not an extension of your desktop. It's just for click-to-call, different ad groups.
Basically click-to-call ad, right? You can create a click-to-call ad. There is a simple option for you to say, make it call-only.
Okay.
Right? Checkbox again. And when you do that, we change the format to push the phone number up to the top of the screen. I think you have to just, So the phone number becomes the main part of the ad. Okay. It's the highlight of the ad. And when you click on that, it just opens the dialer, right?
Can we call the front desk right now and mess with them?
Yeah. So it directly calls. It doesn't take you to a website at all. Right?
Okay.
In terms of like success of click to call as a whole, so this is part of click to call, very good traction.
Right.
Overall, click to call, we are seeing millions, we're sending millions of calls every week.
Yeah.
This ads perform very well, 6 to 8% higher CTR. We announced more than 500,000 customers using this format.
Interesting.
Right now.
Now, are you seeing that with the kind of call-only campaigns, is it a different strategy in terms of your search engine marketing strategy, bidding on different terms, different ad groups, because you're inherently trying to drive a different behavior than you were before by getting someone to click and view something, now to call something?
Actually, bidding strategy-wise, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
What we heard from customers is, many customers told us, look, we just want to get more calls. And that was the origin of call-only creative. They said, we want to put all our money on calls.
Yep.
Clicks are interesting. For some customers, they want both.
Right.
For some, they just want calls. We said, OK. So they actually up their bid for calls. So they get a higher position, right? At the same time, they get more value because they value calls a lot more than
Absolutely.
clicks. I mean, it's not true
Now,
for everyone.
When you launched this, I remember you were pricing the calls the same amount as an equivalent click.
Right.
Now, if you think about that, a lot of advertisers, like you said, value calls higher.
Right.
You're almost undercutting the pay-per-call market out there where there are premiums on driving calls. Now, I know you did that for simplicity, to get the ball rolling and get the ROI to prove itself out. Are you still doing that, or are you seeing the opportunity to kind of optimize the value of those calls as being higher?
We are still doing that. We're still doing that. It's very simple for them to understand. And we created call-only creative for if they really want to bid higher for calls and just want calls, they have a choice now.
Yep.
They can, customers can just choose call-only creative. Not just that, there is one more choice they have now. Another checkbox, very simple, when we can track these calls. So Google will replace your number by a Google number, and we will give you a lot more data.
So
give
there's
customers.
analytics behind call
There's
duration.
analytics, duration, where it's coming from.
Very interesting.
Exactly, like when the call was made, you get the complete picture, and it's basically it's still the same price. We launched that product on desktop as well, and on desktop we actually take bids for calls.
Interesting. So I'm sure as that continues to gain adoption, there are going to be a lot of great data that come out of that, and we'll have you back next year.
We have
to
some
tell
duration
us.
data that I can share.
Go for it, please.
We saw the average call duration from click to call is around 6 minutes.
Okay.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that compares to. We talked to a lot of companies that have call measurement and call monetization products. It'd be interesting to kind of do a study to see what that duration is across the board and see who's providing them best results. Perhaps we'll do something like that soon. So let's keep talking about that data offline. That's very curious. But we need to move on here. Hyperlocal search ads. So this is very interesting. This lets advertisers have within the ad itself their phone number, things like directions, and I think the one thing this is great for is chain restaurants or anything with a national organization with many different locations, because wherever a search happens, the closest one will show up in that ad with the closest phone number rather than some 800 number. What have you found from all of that, in terms of the kind of success metrics of
we have seen, like, Roy's case study is a great one. They're a Hawaiian fusion chain restaurant. They got 800% ROI on their hyperlocal ads, 40% increase in calls. You have the numbers here. Many customers have got really impressive results on hyperlocal. I will mention one more thing we have done that's kind of behind the scene in hyperlocal. I think we announced it. I don't know how many people read our blogs. We actually incorporate the distance between user and business into our ad ranking. So if you are standing here and there are 5 businesses around you at slightly different distances, and let's say their ads quality is more or less same in all other respects, then the business that's closer may get a higher rank. Of course, it's like we blend in all types of signals to determine rank, but distance is a signal in our rank on mobile, specifically on mobile, when we have a good signal. So that's very significant, right?
Absolutely.
And that's why we see businesses continue to get very high ROI from hyperlocal, because these ads actually trigger only when the user is close to the business, not anytime.
No, and it is a big deal whenever Google does anything to tinker in any way with the algorithm or ranking factors or quality score. Now, that's something you've done in mobile only, obviously. It doesn't apply as much to the desktop. Right. And it's interesting, that brings up another point. We've seen Google start to change the ranking factors in mobile in certain ways. That's one example. Another one which you've announced recently is that
mobile optimized.
Sites that are not optimized will get deranked, or they'll not deranked, but they will.
Sites that are optimized will get a boost.
Well, yeah, we'll get a boost, right? That's probably two different ways of saying the same thing.
I want to stay with the positive here.
Yes, of course. And actually, that's one of the ones. We'll get more into that. So another part of this that is interesting, and just as background, national businesses that they need Google to know where all of their locations are. So this is also tied to the Google local extensions, correct? So if they're signed up for that, and that also helps in their online campaigns to get the closest location to show up based on where the searcher is.
Yeah, it's very simple to do. You create location extensions, which presumably most customers have done if they have locations, or they should, and you choose mobile, and it just works.
Okay, it just works. Someone else said that at one point. Who was that? I'm just kidding. Okay, this is the one we actually just talked about. So proximity now joins the many things that Google is doing to kind of come up with a quality score. So I guess we kind of went over this. And the thing, actually, the other point to make here is the fact that you're now doing this almost compels the previous point, making sure that you have these geo-targeted campaigns, location-specific ads, because now if you don't, you're missing out on the fact that you could be getting, basically more traffic without bidding higher. It's really just a matter of turning something on. It doesn't involve, higher bids or anything like that.
And whenever we do this, I'll mention this, like we actually measure user behavior and user satisfaction, like users on mobile Google search, mobile search. And that drives a lot of our decisions. We saw that users love to click on ads that are close to them. The CTRs are higher. We saw that users convert better when the site is mobile optimized. So we said, okay, we need to make sure those signals are reinforced, and we are putting more of those results up for the user.
Absolutely. So we are about out of time, but we have one more, and I don't want to ignore this one. Circulars. Tell us about circulars.
It's a very interesting experiment, we have been doing this with few customers, few large retailers, Macy's and Best Buy and few others. The idea here is we believe a lot of user behavior, offline behavior, will move to online, and mobile will be a conduit, right? Like today, you may pick up a circular from Best Buy and walk into Best Buy, right? Increasingly, people are looking at their mobile phone when they're walking into Best Buy, like the point I was making earlier. So we said, why not have the circular inside the mobile phone? Right? And not just that, why don't we personalize it? Right? It's not a static. As soon as you move it into digital, you can do a lot more interesting things.
Right. Now, are these coming up is the front end or the point of entry search ads? These are coming up in search ads and then taking you to an HTML
so the circulars is like a hosted site almost. It's like google.com/weekly ads.
So it's mobile web.
It's mobile web. It's also on desktop and tablet and all that. It's the way we lead users to the circulars is through display ads, or sometimes search ads.
And then the redemption happens just by showing the phone?
The redemption happens by showing the phone. You can email it to you, email the offer or circular to yourself, and
Okay. Well, we're out of time. Please join me in thanking Surajit. You'll be available for any questions offline from any of these folks? Okay, great.